I am here with Radio Ronnie. Ronnie's always on the radio talking about basically the environmental issues that are plaguing Wisconsin. You know, one of the most unbelievable corruption stories I've read in the past year was what was uncovered about Scott Walker and how he just was blatantly taking money from whoever was giving to him, and also was allowing for making it harder for victims of lead poisoning from paint to sue the company that was particularly poisoning them. He's doing the opposite of what he said he was supposed to do, which is protect Wisconsin. Can you elaborate on that scandal? I mean, it's unbelievable to me.
I'm not as familiar with the lead issue, although my town that I live in, Lake Mills, has a lead issue, but it's with our pipes. But yeah, apparently he's made legislation to be favorable so that the victims cannot recover damages for the lead poisoning. But I mean, that's just one issue that we're dealing with here. What affects me the most, what I work on the most, is the eminent domain situation that Enbridge inserted into our budget, basically a change in our eminent domain law that allowed for them, as not a corporation but a partnership, to use eminent domain on our farmers and landowners.
Can you, for the viewers, elaborate on what eminent domain means?
Eminent domain basically means that Enbridge can take or a company can take your land for profit. It used to be for public good only, but it's been changed now, and for-profit companies can seize land. And so our farmers are dealing with the potential of a 300-foot corridor coming down, slashing Wisconsin for the addition of pipelines.
So we're seeing the plaguing of pipelines all throughout the country. We were in North Dakota looking at what was going on there. But you're saying that here in Wisconsin, based on the governor who's essentially corporatist, and you have a Republican legislature as well, they've kind of slashed these regulations to allow corporations to just take private land and allow pipelines to be built through said land?
That's correct. Yes. And we already have 4 pipelines. We have a Keystone-size pipeline that's 50 years old here. And then they added another one, Line 61, which is 30% larger than the Keystone and running at 1.2 million barrels per day past my town. And now they want to add another one. So they're looking for, the surveys seem to indicate up to 300 additional feet. I can't confirm that. I can only look at the surveys, but that's what it was surveyed for. So our landowners are concerned, and they are organizing. And this is just one issue we're dealing with. We're also dealing with agricultural siting laws that are favorable to large corporations. So it's like rural Wisconsin's just being trashed. We're being industrialized between the pipeline corridors and then these sightings of these huge factory farms without consideration with their high-capacity wells. They can take as much water as they want. It doesn't matter if it influences all the wells around there. It's open season on people in rural Wisconsin as well.
So you're saying people in the rural areas are being decimated by these particular slashing of regulations by Scott Walker, who's an immense corporatist. Why do they keep voting him in? That's the thing I don't really understand. I know it was probably a backlash in 2010 because everyone was freaking out about President Obama. The Tea Party movement was arising. But now he's still in office, and he's been exposed as a corporate shill with the Koch brothers funneling him money. I don't really understand why Wisconsin, which has this beautiful, from the short time I've been here, this greenery, it seems just incredibly clean, why they're voting someone in who's going to harm the environment so much.
That's a good question. I mean, I ask myself that question too. And within our landowner group, a lot of people do come from the conservative side. I think there's an awakening to the issues now that I don't think they paid a lot of attention to some of these issues when they voted. And now they're seeing that this directly affects them. And I think we'll see some changes. Now, not every rural county in Wisconsin has voted Republican. There's a mix. And I'm in one of those counties that's kind of purple. It's about 50-50. And I live in a rural community that has 2 LEED certified schools. So that says something about rural people. But I'm hoping through education and through movements like Brave Wisconsin that we can reach people, and so they will in the future vote more for their interests.
Well, hopefully there's a political awakening. A lot of that was brought on by the Bernie Sanders movement and everything that was associated with that. Can you touch on a little bit how jobs have been slashed, particularly in the state, because we're doing this Disappearing Middle Class tour, and yes, like not only is the Walker administration and the legislature ravaging the environment, but they're also ravaging homegrown jobs here in Wisconsin, which it's not just harming the nature around you, it's harming people's livelihoods. We're trying to show that as best as we can. Can you talk about that from even your personal experience or from people that you know?
Definitely. We lost, our neighbor lost his job at Oscar Mayer, and I think that the Walker administration should have been aware that that company was planning on moving. Unfortunately, through a lot of these scandals and the Swedick thing, a lot of money went to these corporations, and now they're gone. So we've had a lot of job loss like that. In addition, people who work for the state, my husband's a 37-year employee of the state of Wisconsin, and he retired early when the deluge came. And now that same people doing his job have a much more difficult time. I think just the cuts in staff, the loss of benefits, wages being frozen, it's just making it, there's no driver to the economy here. So we're losing private industry, we're losing, and with them our workers are going. I mean, our young people that can leave for jobs are leaving.
Well, he said, 15,000 people have left since Walker's come into office?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Teaching has become very difficult in the state. So, yeah, I mean, the changes have been profound. It's been this horrible kind of tumbling downhill to become basically a third world state in a sense. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to see this everywhere, and I think people have stepped up in their communities, like in school systems. The volunteerism I think is greater and stuff, but it's really hard to deal with this, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it at this point.
Well, I'll leave with this question: if Scott Walker is destroying the environment, he's cutting jobs. You guys are in the bottom 10 or 5 in terms of job creation. If he's essentially only giving corporations tax breaks and making them wealthier, he's supposed to be the governor. Is he governing at all?
No, not in my opinion. He certainly isn't representing the people of Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's representing those corporations. All right, thank you very much.